I call to order this quarterly meeting of the Board of Directors of International Megacorp. There are only a couple items on the agenda today. There's a motion to contribute $10 million to the Climate Sanity Institute, moved by Gwen and seconded by Larry. All those in favor?
Wait, what is the Climate Sanity Institute? And why are we giving them $10 million?
Good question, Ernie. It's part of Gwen's public relations initiative. Gwen, could you give us a quick summary?
Sure. As you know, Ernie, we are a global leader in the fossil fuel industry, and we have an ongoing concern for global warming and climate change. That's why we wanted an environmental activist like you on the board. And we also fund some nonprofit organizations that help to inform the debate.
But what is it they actually do?
They fund scientific research, fund reporters to write articles, sponsor conferences on climate change, and pay major commentators to speak at them. They do a lot of good work. I'm surprised you've never heard of them.
And they are really getting the word out about the science?
Oh, I'll admit that I'm not a scientist, but could you address that, Professor?
Absolutely, yeah. We are solidly behind the science. Science drives this industry. But I know that for the layperson, it can be pretty confusing. So we support agencies that are trying to clarify that for the public.
Terrible things can happen when the public gets the wrong idea.
That's right. We are on the verge of a global warming and a climate catastrophe. And there are people who think that climate change is a hoax perpetuated by a bunch of communist scientists.
Okay. Let's be clear here. Okay. We're not a charity. We give money to people who are, but we exist to make a profit for our shareholders. We provide dividends to the little old lady in Evanston who's depending on our checks. We provide increased value for pension funds that support people in their old age.
Be fair, Larry, he's not saying we shouldn't make a profit. He's not communist, are you, Ernie?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if there is no environment, then there are no profits.
Okay, so we're all agreed. We want this to be a profitable company.
Hear, hear.
Hear, hear.
You know, I think because you're new to the board, we need to bring you up to date on a number of our initiatives. We've had the consultants come in, done a careful systems analysis for us. Alf, you've been working with them. Tell us a bit.
Ernie, we care about the environment. Every day in engineering, we're working on new ways to reduce our carbon footprint. Not only does that help the environment, it also means bigger profits. There is no contradiction between caring about the environment and making a profit.
And Ernie, it's not just the engineering aspect. We in acquisitions have purchased a number of companies that are focused on renewable energy. We see a future with total change to renewables. We call the project Beyond Oil. We buy these companies for the future because, to be honest with you, Ernie, there is no market for renewables right now.
There may be a future in renewables, but right now people need jobs, and we provide a lot of good paying union jobs.
But what about global warming?
Global warming is a technical problem and has a technical solution. We need to innovate. Human ingenuity has saved humanity before. We just have to put our faith in human creativity and innovation.
We are a world leader in patent filings.
Innovation, we all know what that means. It means my union members are going to be replaced by robots or computers. You're going to make the profits, but my members will be unemployed. What's it going to be this time? Robots or computers? Or computerized robots?
Joe, that's why we have a free market. Okay, they can get out there and sell themselves on the labor market.
Yeah, for starvation wages and a non-union job.
That's why we need to grow the economy, create new jobs.
And you know which political party is going to grow the economy and create new jobs?
We are a world leader in economic investment.
Mm-hmm.
We are always looking for new investments. There is always a market for luxuries, even in a depression. New leisure activities are appearing all the time. We've been looking seriously at the cruise industry. Tourism is really big. Some countries base their whole economy on rich people being tourists.
But we've known for the last 50 years that economic growth has limits, and economic growth is destroying our environment.
All this doom and gloom nonsense. Look, we've had exponential growth for 70 years and there are no problems. The scientists of Harvard have proven that everything just keeps getting better and better.
The oceans are filling with garbage. The climate is changing. Millions of people are refugees. We are in a great age of extinctions. These are real problems caused by the destruction of the environment.
Negative thinking gets us nowhere. Okay, we need to be positive. We need to give people hope.
You're an environmentalist, Ernie. You need to understand your job is to give people hope.
I think what the consultants were saying is you have to connect the dots. Causal loops, that was the key. Global warming melts the snow doesn't reflect the light, so the planet warms, which causes more snow to melt. It's a positive feedback loop.
But what are we doing to stop it?
You have to look at the big picture. Everything is connected to everything else. It's complex.
Yeah, the economists are very clear. Our primary responsibility is to make a profit. If we make a profit, then the free market will solve it. We just have to get rid of government regulation.
The economists are always too simplistic. It's not just about trusting the market. You have to help your friends. And our friends in government have no better friends than the oil industry. Let's be honest, the industry needs the subsidies the government provides.
The economists are crazy. They keep talking about market solutions. They want to just put a tax on carbon. That will just raise prices.
But isn't that a good thing? Don't we want to raise prices on fossil fuels so that renewables will be more competitive?
Ernie, what a market solution does is to squeeze out the poor people. Higher prices for oil would mean that the rich fly their jumbo jets, while the poor starve. We need to look at it from a systems perspective.
Yeah, Ernie, this is a global problem and it needs global solutions.
But we have to start somewhere.
The UN has been working hard on global consensus.
Only there were a world government.
There is. We have the World Bank, the International Monetary Fund, the World Trade Organization, all based on the Washington Consensus and dedicated to serving international capitalism and global free market. What else do you need?
Well, some people are saying we need a world energy czar.
Oh, God.
Oh, Larry, watch your language, please.
Don't worry, the government isn't going to let that happen. Our commitment to international capitalism and the global free market is unshakable.
You know, this has been a great discussion, but could we return to the motion?
I don't think I got a very clear answer on what this Climate Sanity Institute does.
Professor?
The Institute tries to bring some balance to the debate.
What debate?
About climate change.
There is no debate. We are facing a serious climate emergency.
Oh, it's extremely complex. If you look closely at the forecast, you find there is usually a probability attached, a 30% chance of showers. Forecasts are predictions of the future, and predictions are very difficult to make, especially about the future.
But they can make predictions.
Actually, the weather models that we have are accurate for about 3 or 4 days. The problem is chaos theory. Trivial changes in initial conditions can have radical effects over time.
But we have climate models.
Oh, we do and we don't. Actually, they are just weather models on steroids. Their ability to predict the weather 50 years from now is debatable.
But global warming is increasing and it will be catastrophic.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. That's just a fact. The open question is how catastrophic, and more importantly, catastrophic for whom? It is a question of risk management. Our job is to make sure that it isn't catastrophic for international megacorp.
There are islands that will disappear into the ocean. There will be mass migrations of people seeking to escape drought and corruption.
I don't think there are any of our islands.
We have a responsibility to the environment.
Actually, science tells us that everything is determined by forces beyond our control. Either that or random chance. Science has proven that we are not responsible. We are merely the objective observers of a deterministic or perhaps stochastic mechanism.
Don't be silly, Professor, okay? Our priority is to make profits for our shareholders. We have to focus on our quarterly profits. If we don't show a significant increase in profits, the market is not going to think well of us. And if the market doesn't think well of us, well, there go our stock options.
We have to take the long view, Ernie. We are all agreed that there needs to be a transition to renewables. We have a plan. Beyond oil, we are making investments in renewables.
But we can't go crazy.
But we can at least stop funding climate change denial.
We would never fund climate change denial. We fund science. Science has no values. Science gives an objective, value-free picture of the deterministic mechanism of the world.
But this institute does promote climate change denial.
We just want a balanced debate. We don't want people going crazy.
Believing in climate change is not going crazy.
There could be serious repercussions from a public outcry about climate change. We could lose billions in subsidies. There would be billions going to fund our competitors in the renewable energy market. There would be public information campaigns and subsidies to encourage people to make the shift.
But that's what we need to do.
Yes, but at a reasonable pace. If it started happening too fast, it would cause chaos in the market.
Yeah, our stock prices would plummet. Our sales would drop off. We could be facing bankruptcy. Now, when Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, it caused chaos in the money market. If we go bankrupt, that could mean the end of international capitalism.
The end of capitalism? Get serious.
Okay, well, maybe the Chinese would buy us out, but it would still be catastrophic for us.
And you have to remember that the Institute has done amazing work convincing people that climate change has nothing to do with oil. It's all about eating beef.
But eating beef is a major destroyer of the environment. The leisure class wants to eat meat, so they are burning down the rainforests.
So you do agree that they are doing good work?
This has been a great discussion with a variety of viewpoints and an amazing amount of insight and intelligence expressed. However, we are paid to make decisions. We need to vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Would the secretary please record that Ernie is opposed? It's important to get that on record. Ernie, I really want to stress how grateful we are for the insight and passion you bring to the table. Meeting adjourned.